I've got 20 minutes to teach you how to play Magic the Gathering. And that includes everything from what the cards do to how to actually win games. But if you watch this entire video, I'm confident that we can do it. So whether you're here because a new set has you interested in learning, or that person in your life finally convinced you to play, by the end of this video, you will be able to know how to play, know how to win, and most importantly, know how to have fun while doing it. Welcome to Sadgic the Gathering. I am your host, and I'm delighted that you're here. I do need you to know,
once you start, there's no going back.
Today, I'm going to teach you what you need to know about playing the most fun game of all time. Sorry, chess.
What the
and everything else. We are going to do this in 5 clear steps. Learn what Magic is, learn what the cards do, learn how to get set up, learn how to take your turn, and learn how to win. Once this video is over, you will be the capable spellcaster you were always meant to be. That, and you'll be able to send people floating in a box down the river. Plus, at the end of this video, I will teach you how the most popular format works, Commander. So without further ado, let's set the timer, maybe grab something to snack on, hold your deck close, and let's learn how to play Magic the Gathering. Step 1. What is Magic the Gathering? The first thing I want you to do is imagine yourself as a wizard. You can cast all kinds of spells, and you are headed into battle against other wizards who can do the same. The spells you can cast are found in your vast library of spells that can do all kinds of things, like summon creatures to fight for you, block other wizard spells, make your creatures bigger, deal direct damage to their life, and so much more. In this wizard battle, it's last person standing, so as long as you can keep casting spells, use your creatures to defend yourself, and outwit your opponents, you're going to be the winner. And that is Magic the Gathering. You are the wizard. The other wizards you're battling are your opponents, and your vast library of spells is your deck of cards. Using your cards to destroy your opponents and whittle away their life is how you win the game. Step 2. What are these cards, and what do they do? This is probably the most important part of the video, so lock in for just a second. As you're looking at Magic cards, there are a lot of symbols and words and things jumping out at you, so let's break them down. There are a handful of different types of cards, but for the sake of simplicity in this video, we're going to break it down into 3 major categories: lands, creatures, and non-creatures. Let's start with the simplest and most important card type, which is lands. Think of lands as fuel. It's the way that you pay for your cards. In order to play cards, you need to use lands. Lands make what's called mana, or the specific fuel needed to play cards. This symbol. There are 5 different colors of lands: white, black, red, green, and blue. Decks can include any amount of colors in any combination, but commonly decks will come in 2 or 3 colors. And that's important because the colors of your deck will be what the colors of the lands and cards in your deck are, right? A blue and black deck will have blue and black lands and blue and black cards. Pretty obvious. To use a land for playing a card, turn it or tap it sideways. Tapping is how you indicate that a land is being used to make mana. Remember, mana is the stuff that we need to play cards. Your lands stay tapped or spent like this until the beginning of your next turn. Then all of your lands get turned right side up and are ready to be used to play spells again. Lands make mana, which pay for cards. That's all you need to know. Pretty simple. Next is creatures. Creatures are exactly what they sound like. They're monsters, animals, people, magical beings that you can use to attack your opponents or defend attacks from your opponents. Let's break down their anatomy. In the top left is the name of the card. In the top right of the card is the mana cost. This is how much mana you have to use to play it and put it from your hand onto the battlefield. Here is its card type, which is creature, and here is its creature type, which is vampire. Types are important because a lot of decks are built around specific types of cards or creatures, like vampire or hero or goblin. Then we've got its text box, which tells you the keywords or abilities that it has. I won't be covering every single keyword and ability in this video because I don't want to be here forever. But a quick online search or a chat with a friend will usually make things clear. These keywords and abilities typically impact things like what happens when you play the card, what happens when the card attacks or blocks, or what benefits does it get. For example, the keyword flying means that only creatures with flying can block other creatures with flying. Think of a bird flying over a goblin. The goblin really wouldn't be able to hit it. Lastly is its power and toughness. These numbers help you determine how much damage your creature can do to an opponent or an opponent's creatures, and how much damage a creature can take before it dies and goes to your graveyard. To attack with a creature, it's pretty simple. You choose the creature you want to attack with, pick the opponent, and attack. You can also block an oncoming attack during your opponent's turn with your creatures. To indicate that you're attacking with a creature, turn or tap it sideways like we did with lands. And like lands, your creatures stay tapped or turned sideways until the beginning of your next turn. For blocking, simply choose which of your creatures you would like to block an attack from another creature with. Some creatures also have abilities that allow you to tap them for some kind of reward, like drawing cards or gaining life. They'll have this symbol if that's the case, and sometimes there will also be an additional mana cost that you have to pay to activate that ability. Lastly is non-creatures, and I want you to think about these as everything else that you would use and spells you would cast in your wizard battle. Spells that do direct damage to your opponents or their creatures, spells that let you draw cards, spells that destroy your opponent's stuff, weapons you give to your creatures to make them stronger, or enchantments you use to protect or enhance your creatures in some way. Both creatures and non-creatures have the same card layout with name, type, costs, pretty much all that good stuff. But a non-creature's card type is going to be different, obviously, and since it's not a creature, it won't have power or toughness either. Within non-creatures, let me make an important distinction. And stay with me here, this is where it's going to get a little detailed, but it's important, I promise. There are a few different kinds of non-creature card types that I want you to be aware of. Cards with the card type Instant or Sorcery offer you a one-time effect that once you play it and do what the card says, you put that card into your graveyard. Like this card, which lets you draw 3 cards, or this card, which deals 3 damage to anything. Sorceries can only be played during your turn, but instants can be played at any time during anyone's turn, sort of as the name implies. Cards with the card type Artifact or Enchantment stay on the battlefield after being played, and you get their effects ongoing for as long as you control it or whenever you use it. Like this card, which increases the power and toughness of all of your creatures, or this card, which sort of acts like a land and can create mana for you. Some artifacts and enchantments are called equipment or auras, and they get put directly onto your creature and give that specific creature a bonus or ability. And that's basically non-creatures. They do a lot and they offer a ton of variety, even some that we won't really get into today, but I've given you the most essential info that you'll need. Okay, so we know what the cards do, but how do we play them? Remember these symbols in the top right? They are going to tell us how much land or mana we need to be able to play that card. Let's play a specific card so I can show you how it works. In this instance, the cost to play this card is 2 green black. The number 2 symbol means that you can use mana of any color to help pay for 2 of its costs. The green and black symbols mean that you have to use at least 1 green and 1 black mana in addition to the other 2 mana to play this card. And that is a grand total of 4 mana to play this card. I'll use 2 green lands to cover the 2, and I'll use 1 black and 1 more green to cover the black and green symbols. Turn them all sideways and play the card. That was so easy, right? That was a lot, I know, but don't panic. You're doing great. Knowing what the cards do is more than half the battle. You've got this. Let's keep going. We'll do something easy next, okay? Step 3, how do you get set up? In Magic the Gathering, there are a lot of different ways to play, called formats, like Commander or Draft. But they all use the same core gameplay rules, so once you learn how to play, you can kind of play anything. But let's jump in. All you need to start is your deck and a way to keep track of your life total, like a die, a tracker, a notepad, or an app. First, make sure your deck is well shuffled, which mine is, and place it in front of you off to the side. If you're playing Commander, set your Commander card aside but close by your deck, and we'll talk about it later. Make sure you leave some space next to your deck where cards can fit, because this will be your graveyard where creatures that die or cards you've cast will go. The big area in front of you is called the battlefield, and it's where all of your creatures and spells will be played. Keep your life tracking tool handy. If you're playing Commander, your starting life will be 40. For most other formats, it'll be 20. Decide with your opponent who is going first, and then draw 7 cards off the top of your deck. Now you are officially set up and ready to play. Step 4, what do you do on your turn? We're all set up, we've got our hand of cards, we kind of know what the cards do, and we want to know what our turn looks like. So let's go through it. To start any of your turns, you always do the same 3 things. Untap, upkeep, draw. Untap means all of the lands you control get turned right side up and are ready to be used to play spells. If there are any creatures that attacked last turn or got tapped for their ability, untap them now so that they are ready for battle on your turn. Upkeep means that if you have any cards with special abilities that trigger on the upkeep, they would trigger at this point, like this card. And then draw. At the start of each of your turns, you draw 1 card off the top of your deck. The max amount of cards you can have in your hand is 7. If you ever go over that number, at the end of your turn, you'll have to discard cards from your hand into the graveyard until you get to 7. After that, we go to our main phase. The main phase is the part of our turn where we can play cards. As a reminder, during your main phase, you can play any cards, creatures, sorceries, lands, whatever you got. But outside of your main phase, like during combat or during your upkeep or during an opponent's turn, the only card that you can cast are instants. So on our main phase, the first thing we're going to do is play a land. You can only play 1 land per turn, so that is the first thing that you should do. Don't forget it. Then we're going to look at how many lands we have on the battlefield and see what cards in our hand we can afford to play with the amount of lands that we have. It looks like we have a total of 5 lands, so let's look at what we can play. I'm going to tap 3 lands to play this creature and put it on the battlefield. Here is a really important rule with creatures. The first turn that a creature is played, it can't attack. They have to wait until your next turn to start attacking. This is called summoning sickness. Think of it as them being so disoriented from being summoned onto the battlefield, they need a minute to sort of catch their breath. But okay, that's all that I want to play during my main phase, and now we are going to go to our combat phase. Remember, I can't attack with this creature that I just played, but I played this creature last turn and it is able to attack. Before attacking though, I want to look at my opponents and see who would be the best target. I want to give my attacking creature the best possible chance at either doing damage to my opponent or to my opponent's creature, and I don't want my creature to die if I can help it. So I probably won't attack someone with a creature that's bigger than mine. Instead, I'll pick the opponent that only has 1 small creature and I'll tap my creature sideways to indicate that I am attacking them. My creature has 2 power and 4 toughness. Now, my opponent can either choose to block with their 1/1 creature, or they can just take the attack from my creature directly to their life points, which would lower their life total 2 points. But let's say that my opponent does want to block with their 1/1 creature. All we have to do is some simple math. The 2 power of my creature goes against the 1 toughness of their creature, and the 1 power of their creature goes against the 4 toughness of my creature. Since 2 is bigger than 1, my creature kills his creature, and since 1 is not bigger than 4, my creature lives. His little guy goes to the grave, and my guy is ready to fight another day. Combat can get a little tricky, so pay attention to your cards and ask a lot of questions. Sometimes only 1 creature dies, sometimes both creatures die, sometimes neither creature dies. And as a reminder, this is where keywords and abilities come into play, so pay attention to those as well. Okay, so now that combat is over, we have our second main phase. Basically, this is our last chance if we have any more cards we want to play. We still have 2 lands that we can use, so we'll play this sorcery card which says destroy target creature. We'll target one of our opponent's creatures, resolve the spell, and put it in our graveyard. After that, we've already attacked, we've used all available mana we have, and so now we'll go to our end step, which just means we'll end our turn. On other players' turns, combat works the exact same, just in reverse. If someone is attacking you, you can block with your creatures or just take it directly to your life points. You choose. Remember though, your creature can only block if it's not tapped. If you tapped your creature by attacking with it, it can't be used as a blocker against an oncoming attack. And that is how your turn will work. Untap your stuff, draw a card, play a land, play your cards, attack, block, that's it. Step 5, how do you win? You have made it through the most intense parts. Well done. We know what the game is, we know what the cards kind of do, we're all set up, we know what to do on our turn. You know what's left? Teaching you how to outplay your opponents and win the thing. But guess what? I'm only going to give you 3 pieces of pretty simple advice. You obviously win the game by being the last person alive and making everyone else's life points go to 0. But here are 3 things that will take you from being a good Magic player to a great Magic player. First, be observant. You can learn a lot about your opponents and their decks by what they're saying and, more importantly, what they're showing. Let me give you an example. You are ready to play your big creature and you know it's going to absolutely stomp and destroy and probably win you the game. But you also notice that one of your opponents has a lot of lands that are untapped and a hand full of cards. This might mean that they're saving their lands and their handful of cards to stop you from playing your big creature. It might make you think, I need to be cautious and careful about how I'm going to play this card. Maybe you need to wait for just a second and see what they're going to do. Look, everybody's out to get you and everybody wants to win. If you pay attention to details like how many cards are in my opponent's hands, how many lands do they have untapped, which cards pose the biggest threats on the battlefield, and who is currently the most dangerous player. These details can help you stay one step ahead of everyone else, keep you from getting targeted, and place you nicely atop the winner's podium. Number 2, timing is everything. This is a really important lesson to learn. If you can figure out the best time to play your cards and in what order, you will win more games. Here's a simple example. You have 3 cards in your hand. One is a creature, one lets you draw a card, and one makes your creatures stronger. You can play your creature, you can make it stronger, and then you can draw your card. Pretty simple, nothing wrong with it. But if you think to yourself, what if I play my draw spell first, and then I'll draw my card and hey, look, it's another creature. Now I can play 2 creatures, and when I play my card that makes my creature stronger, it'll make both creatures stronger. Knowing how to maximize your turn and win the game faster hinges upon your ability to figure out timing. It does take time, so be patient, but the mere fact that you're already thinking about timing and being observant means that you'll be light years ahead of where I was when I started playing and most new players. The last point that I want to make here is the most important. The best way to get good at this game and anything in life is to just start. I've been playing this game for 15 years, and guess what? I still have questions almost every single time I play. Don't let that discourage you. Let that embolden you to know that it's never going to be perfect, but that you can do it. If you've got the basics down, that's all you need to start. The more you'll play, the more you'll learn, and the better you'll get, and the more you'll understand your deck, and the more fun you'll have. I did say we'd talk about Commander, so let me mention that super quickly. Remember, all Magic formats have the same core gameplay, so hold on to everything that we've learned, and I'm going to add just a teeny bit to it for Commander. In Commander, you have a deck of 99 cards with no repeating cards, only 1 copy of each card. Except for basic lands, you can have any number of basic lands. You'll also have 1 commander or legendary creature that you build your entire deck strategy around. If you are a wizard going into battle, think of them as your top captain, your most trusted admiral. Your commander lives outside your deck in an area called the command zone, which was that area where I told you to put your commander earlier, if you remember. And it can be played like a normal card for its mana cost from the command zone. When it dies or gets removed, instead of putting it in the graveyard, you can put it back in the command zone, so you always have access to it. But every time you play it from the command zone, you have to pay 2 additional mana of any color to play it for each time that it has died this game, meaning the more it gets removed, the more expensive it becomes. That is called commander tax. You have 40 life in a game of Commander, but there's also something called commander damage. Don't worry, it's not too complicated. All it means is that when your commander creature specifically deals damage directly to another player, they track the damage dealt from your commander separately from their life total. And if your specific commander deals at least 21 damage to any one player, that player immediately loses the game, even if they still have life points. It's just another way to keep the game interesting and keep it moving along. If you're unsure of how that works or that's kind of confusing, just ask whoever you're with to keep track of it for you. But that is Commander, the most popular way to play Magic. Easy peasy. And that is how you play Magic the Gathering. You made it through the whole video. Look at you. I know that there's so much to know. And guess what? You're gonna have questions. That's okay. Questions are great. It's not gonna make perfect sense immediately, but just try, and little by little, I promise you, it will come together for you. You'll have it way faster than you think. If you have any questions that you want answered here, this video and this community is a great resource for new players to learn and for veteran players to help. So drop a comment, ask a question, and I or somebody else will absolutely help you. Feel free to come back to this video as often as you need to and brush up on your skills. Magic is my favorite game ever, and I hope that in time, it'll become yours as well. And as always, follow Sadgic for more magic. See you next time.